practice. Lesson 4. Getting to know plants. Go outside and observe all the plant you. Do you see that some plants are small while some are just patches of green on soil? Some have green leaves while some other have reddish while some other have reddish ones. Some have huge red flower, some have tiny blue ones, while some have none. We do see a variety of plant existing all around us. Near our homes, in the school ground, on the way to flower, fruit, stem, leaf, nodal, internode, bud, primary root, secondary root system parts of plant. The school in the park and garden is not it. Let us get to know the different part of any plant. This will help us understand the difference between plant or different kinds. Can you label the stem, branch, root, leaf, flower and fruit of the plant? Show in figure 4.1. Color the parts of the plant. Herb, shrub and trees. Look closely at the stems and branches. Plant much smaller than you. Plant that are about your size and plant which are much taller than you. Feel their stems and try to bend them gently to see if they are tender or hard. Categorize or plant. Take care that the stem does not break. Use the tall plant to see how thick their stems were. We are also need to notice from where the branches grow in some plant, close to the ground or higher up on the stem. We will now group all the plants we observe in table 4.1. Some examples are shown. You can fill the column 1. 2 and 3. For many more plants, fill column 4. Later, after studying the section, based on these character, most plants can be classified into three categories: herb, shrubs, and tree. An example of each is shown in figure 4.3. Herb, shrub, and trees. Plants with green and tender stems are called herbs. They are usually short and may not have many branches. Some plants develop branches near the base of stem. The stem is hard but not very thick. Such plants are called shrub. Some plants are very tall and have hard and thick stem. The stem have branches in the upper part much move the ground. Such plants are called trees. Based on the above characteristics, can you now classify the plant list by you and complete column 4 in table 4.1? Creeper and climber. Creeper, this plant, cucumber, creeper and climber. Two trees, shrubs, herbs or creeper growing in your house or school. Stem. Observe closely the stem of different plants around you. Note down different structures, part grown by stem. Compare your observations with that of your friends. What do you find? Stem, bare, leaves, branches, birds, flower, and fruit. Paheli wants what kind of stem the money plant, beanstalk, ground plant, and grapes, vines have. To observe some of these plants, how are these different from a herb, a shrub, or trees? Why do you think some of them Why do you think some of them need support of climb upwards? Plant with weak stem that cannot stand upright but spread on the ground are called creepers, while those that take support and climb up are called climbers. These are different from the herbs, shrubs, and trees. Perhaps there are some plants in your schools or at home that you take care of. Write down the names of any two, three. Stem. Observe closely the stem of different plant around you. Note down different structures plant grown by stems. Compare your observations with that of your friend. What do you find? Stem, bear, leaves, branches, birds, flower and fruit. Activity 2. We would require a glass paper, water, red blue ink, and soft stem. Pour water, fill one third of glass, add a few drops of red blue ink to the water. Cut the base of stem and put in the glass and soon figure 4.6. Observe the setup. Does the color appear in the stem? You will find that the color rise in the stem. If this is kept for a longer period, the color stem in a glass with colored water appeared in the veins of leaves. Also, how do you think the color reaches there? From this activity we see that the stem help in upward movement of water. The water and minerals go the leaves and other plant parts attached to them. Water moves up stems and reaches leaves. In large view open of stems. Leaf. Observe the leaves of some plant around you and draw them in your notebook. Or all the leaves of same size, shape and color. How are leaves attached to the stem? The part of leaf by which it is attached. The stem is called petiole. The broad green part of the leaf is called lamella. Can you identify those part of leaves in plant around you? Do you all the leaves have petioles? A lamella stem petiole. Let us get now the leaf better by taking it impression. If you thought that leaves cannot shine, here is an activity which will make you think again. Activity 3. Put a leaf under white sheet of paper or sheet in your notebook. Now to hold in it place as shown in figure 4.9. Hold your pencil tip sideways and rub it on the portions of the paper having the leaf below. Did you get an impressions with some lines in it? Are they similar to those on the leaf? These lines on leaf are called veins. Do you see a prominent line in this middle of the leaf? This is called the midrib. The designs made by veins in a leaf is called the leaf venations. If this design is nut-like on both sides, mid-rib, the venations of reticulate. In the leaves of grass, you might have seen that the veins are parallel to one another. This is parallel venations. Observe the venations is any many leaves as you can without removing them from the plant. Draw the pattern and write. Transparent polythene cover bag. Leaf venation, reticulate and parallel. Name of some plant having reticulate and parallel venations. Shall we now find out some of the function of a leaf? Activity 4. We will require a hub, two transparent polythene bags and thread. Do this activity during day and time on a sunny day. Use a Do this activity during daytime on a sun Do this activity during daytime on a sunny day. Use a healthy, well watered plant that has been growing in the sun. Enclose the leaf branch of the plant in a polythene cover and tie up its mouth as shown in figure 4.11. Tie up the mouth of another empty polythene cover and keep it's also in the sun. After a few hours, observe the liner surface of the cover. What do you see? Are there a droplet of water? How do you think they got there? Don't forget to remove the polythene bag after the activity. Water comes out of leaves in the form of vapor by a process called transpiration. Plants release a lot of water into the air through this process. Why did we tie a cover around the leaves? Would we have seen the water evaporate if we had not tied a polythene? Green leaves, blue black colored leaves, iodine solutions. Cover what makes the water appear on the polythene bag. In chapter 5, we notice water changing into different form in some of other our activities. Can you think of these and name the process that makes water drops appear on the polythene cover? Leaf also have another function. Let us study this. Activity 5. We would require a leaf sprit, a beaker, test tube, burner, water and watches, glasses, iodine solution for this activity. Take a leaves in a test tube and pour spirit to completely immerse the leaf. Green leaf, iodine solutions, blue black color leaf. What does the leaf contain? Since the activities involves the use of spirit and heating, it is advised that is demonstrated by the teachers in the class. Now place the test tube in a beaker half filled with water. Heat the beaker till all the green color from the leaf comes out into the spirit in the test tube. Takes out the leaf carefully and wash in it water. Place on a watch glass and pour some iodine solution over it. What do you observe? Compare your observation with those done in chapter 1. When you tasted food for presence of different nutrition, does this mean that the leaf has starch in it? In chapter 1, we saw that a slice of raw potato also shows the presence of starch. Potato get this starch from their leaves and store it. Leaves prepare their food in the presence of sunlight and green colored substance present in them. For this, they also use a water and carbon dioxide. This process is called a photosynthesis. Oxygen is a given out in the process. The food prepared by leaves ultimately gets stored in different parts of the plant. We have seen that the stem supplies leaves with water. The leaves uses the water to make food. The leaves also lose water through the transpirations. How do the stem and leaves get water? That is where the root come in. Root. Look at the figure 4.30. What do you think is watering their plant correctly? पहली और बूझो why. Watering plants. Which part of the plant is in the soil? Let us learn more about this part from the following activities. You will require two pots, some soil, kurpi for digging, blade or pears, scissors and water. This activity is to be done in group 4-5 students. Select two plants of the same kind from open ground and dig them out with roots. Take care that their roots do not break plant one of them in pot A. Cut off the roots from plant with roots and without roots. other plant in a put be figure water them regularly, observe the plant after a week, are both plant healthy, both the plant are watered regularly, but one is a without root is not it. Does the activity help you understand an important function of the root? Let us do an activity to study another functions of root. Activity 7, we would require sheet 2 grams and maize, cotton, wool, katori, and some water. Takes two katoris, place some wet cotton in them. Put 3 or 4 seeds of gram in one and measure in the other. Keep the cotton wet by sprinkling water every day until the sprout have grown into young plant. After a week, try to separate the young plant from the cotton. Young plant grown on cotton. Was it easy to separate the cotton from the roots? Why? In activity 6, we could not pull out the plants from the soil, right? We dug them out. This is because root help in maize plant. Write grams or maize. The blank space in the figure after matching the roots with the figures. In what may are the roots of the gram and maize similar? In what may are the different? There seems to be two different types of root. Is not it? Are there also other types of root? Let us find out. Activity 9. Go go to an open ground where many wild plants are growing. Dig out a few, wash the soil of the root and observe them. Do you find that all of them have either the kind of roots shown in figure 4.17 or 4.20b? Taproot and fibrous root. This root tap and fibrous root. Fibrous root multiple roots is originated. For roots of the kind shown in the figure 4.70, the main root is called taproot and the similar root are called the lateral root. Plant with root as shown in figure 4.70 do not have a main root. All roots seem similar and these are called fibrous root. Separate the plant you have collect into two groups. In groups A, put those that have taproot and in groups those that have fibrous root. Look at the leaves of the plant in groups. What kind of venetions do they have? What kind of venation do you see for plant of group B? Do you notice that the leaf venations and type roots in plant are related in? Boju has a brilliant idea. If he wants to know what kind of roots plant has, he needed not pull it out, put. He just has to look and its leaves. We have learned that root absorb water mineral from the soil and the stems conduct these to leaves and other parts of the plant. The leaves prepare food. This food travels through the stem and is stored in different parts of plant. We eat some of these as a root like carrot, radish, sweet potato, turnip and tapioca. We also eat many other parts of a plant where food is stored. Do you agree that stem is like a street with two way traffic? Write the names of material that goes up in the stem and that which comes down. Stems and two-way traffic street. In the next sections, we will study about the structures of flowers. Flower. You also shown trees, branches of roses, figure 4.90, and which ones which help you best to recognize the plant. Those are the petiole. Different flowers have petals of different color. Where do you think the petals are in a closed bud? Which is the most prominent part in bud? Do you see that this part is made small leaf-like structures there? Petals, sepals, and buds and flowers. Which flower did you use for the flower in figure 4.9? All flowers colorful. Have you ever seen flowers on grass? Wheat, maize, mangoes, or guava? Are those brightly colored? Let us study a few flowers. When choosing flower to study, avoid using marigold, chisholm, and sunflower. You will learn in higher classes that they are not single flowers but group of flowers. Activity 10. We would require one buds and two fresh flower, each of any of following: dhatura, china, rose, mustard, brinjal, ladyfingers, gulmohar. Also a bladder, glass slide or sheet or paper, a magnifying glass and water. Observe 4.20. Carefully look at the prominent parts of the open flower. Open flower are called the sepal. Take a flowers and observe its petals and sepal. Now, how answer the following questions: how many sepal does it have? Are they joined together? What are the colors of the petals and the sepals? How many petals does the flower have? Are they joined one another's or are they separate? Do the flowers with joined sepals have petals that are separate or are they also joined together? Fill the table based on the observations of the whole clause and observations to this table from field trip to a locality where there are plants with flower. Fill the last two column letter. To see the liner part of the flowers clearly, you have to cut it open if its petals are joined. For example, in dhatura and other bell-shaped flower, the petals have to be cut lengthwise and separate out so that the inner parts can be seen clearly. Remove the sepals and petals to see the other parts. Study the figure 4.22. Remove the petals, sepals and petal to see the other part. Study figure 4.22. Carefully compare your flower with the illustrations. Identify stamens and pistil in your flower. Look at the figure 4.23 carefully. It shows different kinds of stamens present in different flower. Can you recognize the two parts of the stamen in your flower? How many stamens are there in your flowers? Draw on one stamen and label its part. Anther filaments, part of stamen. Stigma, styly, ovary, parts of pistil. The innermost part of flower is called pistil. If you cannot see, it's completely removed. The remaining the stamens identify the parts of the pistil with the help of figure. Draw a neat level diagram of the pistil of your flowers. Activity 11. Let us now study the structures of ovary. It is the lowermost and swollen part of the pistil. We will cut this part to study what is inside. Look at the figure 4.25 and carefully to understand how to cut the ovary of a flowers. Cutting an ovary and longitudinous and transverse cut. Cut the ovary in two different ways as shown in figure 4.25. To prevent them from drying, put a drop of water on each of two pieces of the ovary and you have cut ovules. Inner structures of an ovary: longitudinal cut and transversal cut. Observe the inner part of your ovary. Using a lens, do you see some small bat-like structure inside the ovary? They are called ovules. Draw and label the inner part of the ovary in your notebook. Try to find out the names of as many flowers as you can by asking the gardener or any other person. Remember, do not pluck more flower than you need based on what you have. Fill the table 4.3. Answer the following questions. Do all flowers have sepal, petal, stamen and pistil? Are there flowers that do not have one more of these? Are there flowers which have parts other than these? Did you find any flower which has no difference between sepal and petal? Did you find any flowers in which the numbers of stamen is different from the numbers of petal. Do you now agree that the structures of the flower is not always the same? The number of sepal, petal, stamen and pistils may also be different in different flowers. Some of these parts may even absent at times. We have studied some features and functions of leaf, stamen and roots. We study the structure of different flowers. We will learn about the function of flowering in higher classes. We will also learn about fruit in higher class. Climber, conduct, creepers, fibrous root, herbs, lamella, lateral root, midroof, ovules, parallel, venations, petals. Petiole, photosynthesis, reticulate, venation, sepal, sub, stamen, taproot, transpiration, trees, fins. Thank you.